and good evening, and welcome back to another playthrough live and exclusive here to YouTube. I'm your host Switchbow for the remainder of the evening. Normally on this channel we like to do things and play games blind for the first time. We give our live reactions and bad jokes and banter in the chat box that way. No, this is part of the ongoing series where I go back to my early university years and play Gran Turismo 4 on the PlayStation 2. One of the many games I sank lots of hours into, so if you're new here to this channel, you want to see me drive like a nutter, then keep on sitting back and relaxing. For those of you who've been here before, whether you watch me grind through the 1,000 miles on the original series that I did earlier on, maybe you saw me do all the Danganronpa games, all the Persona games, all the Shin Megami Tensei games, the duology of madness, that was the Crash Bandicoot quadrilogy and the Sonic Adventure pairing, or even the classic streams like Forza 4 and Final Fantasy 7. Either way, a huge welcome back to all of you. And that includes you there, Fiona, saying what a coincidence you actually watched the Gran Turismo movie today. I believe it was like a preview screening, I understand, in certain areas of the world, 8th and the 9th. Apparently the actual proper release has been put back all the way to the 25th. The 25th of August. Mainly because of the Actors Guild strike, so therefore the actual actors can't promote film, so they put it back by a few weeks. Meanwhile, Joe's also jumping in there saying, good evening to you two, mate, how are you doing? We're on the Tokyo 246, but we are in reverse. So this is going to be interesting. Of course, this cup, we've kind of come equipped with something that's a bit overpowered. We're in a very fast, powerful car, though we are on sports tyres, so this could be very interesting indeed. And for those of you not seen, there is a poll up in the chat at the moment for the endurance race I'm going to do on the next stream. I've got 4 races available, and there's a couple of votes in there already, so get your votes in there, and if it's a tie, I'll consult the good old Google Dice later to decide it. So we'll see what happens as we go. And here we are on very icy tyres. You can see that I'm not finding it as easy to brake on these because they've got no grip. Sports tyres, of course, have got tread on them, and that means they're not so good for a Group C Le Mans car with 1,000 horsepower, but you know what? I'm going to go for it. And no worries, you say, you're doing okay, but your back is killing you. Oh, are you alright, mate? What's caused that to happen? Have you had an accident or something? Either way, I hope you're alright and you get better soon. I had back pain a few weeks back and it was absolutely nasty. Interesting, the UK release the 9th, is it? I'm sure somewhere in the world it's been put back. That's a surprise. Because I know that I think it was in Germany and possibly in Japan. They had some like special influencer screenings or something, and that was about it. But yes, it's interesting that they put it back 2 weeks. There's a rumour that apparently it's already leaked online. Some evil bootlegger has apparently already leaked it for 3. I have no idea of knowing if that is true, and I'm certainly not going to promote acquiring it. Says the guy who's playing Gran Turismo 4 via an emulator. I'm not very good at this, am I, people? Me also, Avian, good evening to you. How are you doing? You've got tech issues. What kind of tech issues have you got? Apart from me and my face being on the TV screen. So it's just one of those things you've had for the last couple of years, Joe. Well, it's like me and my elbow. When I fell a few years back, I fell 4 feet straight down to concrete, broke my arm, and ever since I get this moment where my right arm's seized up and just cracks like frozen twigs. It's nasty, and it hurts. I just have to live with it. It's really annoying. I mean, I don't know if I'm interested in checking out the movie, to be honest, because I know that it's based on the GT Academy, which is a series that broadcast many years ago. It was actually sponsored not only by Gran Turismo, but also by Nissan. And a lot of the drivers who won it ended up as part of Nissan's Le Mans prototype program, so they all went into like LMP2 and things like that for Nissan. And it was a very successful thing. It did quite well. It got some new drivers to the mix. But as I say, aside from a couple who went on to actually race at LMP1 level, I don't think it ever generated any champions. As I say, I have no idea though, because I kind of stopped watching it early on. I wasn't that interested. I thought I would be, but when I sat there I thought, I'm not finding this engaging at all. But yeah, so for those of you, speaking of engagement, for those of you not already aware, there is a poll in the chat for the endurance race I do on the next stream. So you've got plenty of time to sit back and think, which of those 4 circuits do I want to watch? There's plenty available. So thus far we are well in front, and all we're trying to do now is keep it nice and smooth-ish as we aim to get around the course and complete this tournament. And then after that, I don't know what tournament really after that, to be honest. I'll just see what's available. I might actually go and get one of my specialist cars and do one of the manufacturer trophies. I've not done one of them for a while. That's not how to take that corner, people. I did this much better when I was in charge of the Mercedes 1980E touring car, didn't I? In the endurance race. Beautiful. Yeah, that Honda Fit had absolutely no business racing me. Honda Fit, of course, known more commonly here in the UK as the Honda Jazz. Which is a better name for it, when you think about it. The Jazz. Nice and smooth and relaxed. You love the sound of the R89, do you, Joe? Well, I'll tell you what, let's give you a view of it from the outside. Not quite the same sound, is it, in the engine? You know, this is their idea of cockpit view back in the day, people. This was back when there was cockpit view. This was their idea of a cockpit view. It's not quite as good, is it? So it's known as the Jazz in France as well, so it probably was a European name for it then. Makes sense actually, because the European markets all have very different approaches, because obviously different gauge of cars, different gauge of tyres, and generally just the different attitudes of cars as well. In America, if it ain't got a V8, it ain't a car. I'm making a sweeping generalisation there, I must admit. That was the generalisation to end all generalisations. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I'm going to see if I can lap the field. The Renault Clio, yes. You call it a shitbox. The thing is, I want to know why, at the end of the 1990s and the early 2000s, loads of racing game manufacturers had the Renault Clio 16 valve as a really high-level car for absolutely no reason. Gran Turismo 2 had it, Metropolis Street Racer had it, and I don't understand why it was treated as like the ultimate car to acquire for some reason. It makes no sense. I've never understood it. One of my friends once had a Renault Clio and spent 200 quid modifying it on special tyres and everything else. It was still a shitbox. So I can't really comment on the movie fee, but yeah, definitely. It's like in this game, you can blitz the opposition with absolute ease. Where's the finish line? Tiny little slide over the line there because we can. Is it going to make it home? Yes, there it is. +1 lap. We've lapped the field. And everybody else is calling for me to be disqualified because my car is too OP. To which I say, it said any car is allowed. It's not my fault that you all didn't turn up in a Le Mans car. You all turned up in regular road cars for whatever reason. I think there's another 6 races for this series to go, so we'll be doing this for a while, I'm afraid, people. We are in the midst of a championship. But then again, we did do 1 race in 10 minutes, so... Oh, we're at Fuji 2005. We're at the full version of the circuit. Wow, okay. Now, this is going to be awkward because the 2005 layout doesn't have any braking points. As in, it doesn't have any brake marker boards. So I'm going to struggle to get around the corners. Of course, this is the circuit where the Ford Model T Tourer took on its ghostly brother on the last stream, where we had the most epic race of all time at a top speed of 50 miles an hour. Yeah, look at the understeer there, people. That's understeer. Now that is understeer. These tyres, you can't lean on these tyres at all. Luckily, thanks to Herman Tilke, there's all this runoff. We can just use it to get back on the circuit. This is the layout that, of course, went to feature in the Formula 1 series in 2007 and 2008. And then it also went to feature in the World Endurance Championship too. And it's the version of the circuit I attended in 2014 when I went to watch the World Endurance live. No, 2015, sorry, not 2014. Right, hear the engine roar, people, a mile long straight. Here we go. Apparently we're 18 seconds a lap faster than the field at the moment. Oh, that's cool, Fiona. You say that they showed a trailer for the Spider-Man 2 game. How did that look to you? I said I played both the original PS4 Spider-Man, or I played the Ultimate Edition on PS5, and I also played through Miles Morales. Funny thing about that game, I had a copy of the Spider-Man Miles Morales game a week before my console arrived. Yes, I got a game for the console a week before the console officially launched. I was very, very mad. It was annoying. I do know that the Spider-Man animated movie Beyond the Spider-Verse has unfortunately been postponed indefinitely due to what's going on with the Screen Actors Guild. So no one knows when that film's going to come out, which is a pity because the film Across the Spider-Verse was awesome. Watched that in Canada and it was amazing. Yes, go on holiday to go to the movies. And why not? Well, as I say, you can if I cut the grass enough, the lawnmower memes can definitely be done. I at some point need to get footage from Metropolis Street Racer of the lawnmower in that game, because believe it or not, there is one, and it's hilarious. Metropolis Street Racer had some of the trolliest cars in the world in terms of like special cars to unlock. They were absolute trolls. Well, that's fair, Fiona. If you're not into superhero stuff, that's okay. We're all different after all. The world would be rather dull if everyone liked the same thing. As a kid, I was a nerd because I like reading the likes of Wolverine and Deadpool and Spider-Man and Preacher and other things like that. How's that for a closing speed difference, people? Did you see the difference in the closing speed then? On proper racing tyres, this circuit is a lot more fun to drive. But alas, we're not on racing tyres, we're on sports hards, and they are very, very slow indeed. But not as slow as the AI, because I'm about to lap another car. That's right, back in the loser lane where you belong. I had to actually use the handbrake then because I went so deep. It worked though, I avoided crashing into the wall. That's true, so yeah, Insomniac making a Wolverine game. It's been in development for a while, hasn't it? Seen one brief teaser of them, that's all we've seen. There's not much else we know about it. I'll be interested to see what they do with Wolverine. The last time Wolverine had his own game was back on the PlayStation 2 and it was absolutely awful. Promised the world, but it just did not deliver at all. Called Wolverine's Revenge or something like that, I think. Yeah, massive understeer then, as we've not go around the corner and so tried. Let's say that's kind of cool, lapping other people in the Mario Kart races. I'm not really a car racing fan. I've had fun playing car races in co-op mode, but I said I don't really find them that interesting. Bit too, I don't know, it's something, I prefer the more simulation kind of games with proper racing lines. I prefer having to thread your needle and properly set your car up. And actually, I think Mario Kart games are fun though. Except when people are losing and get infinite blue shells and start to show you with them. Yes, I am looking at certain people in the chat for this. They know who they are. Bad timing, Avian. Queue work arriving. It's always the way, isn't it? It's like you'd rather be sat there playing Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne or something, but no, the boss says you have to do some work. Blue shells, Avian. Blue shells. That's all I need to say. Not just you. You're not the only one responsible. You're not alone. But I love the fact that the moment I said they know who they are, you're immediately like, why? What did I do? Because why not? Okay, not bad. We're well in front in this championship now. There's actually a really strange video that someone linked me to the other month. And I did a massive double take when I... Oh no. We have 19 laps of the tiny circuit. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be silly. I honestly have no idea where to brake on this circuit in this car. This is going to be silly. I can barely get out of second gear because there's just no straightaway. I've got nowhere to open the taps. Yeah, don't blink, don't think, just go, 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 go. Ah, there we go. Ah, nice one, Aristojack. You just we do have a winner at the moment. We have one race out in front, but there is still time to affect the decision on where we're racing next. Yes, blue shells are very annoying, Fiona. I know. Avian, I'm glaring at you. Oddly enough, this is going to end up being one of the longer laps, one of the longer races. Oh, that's cool, Archie. You've been working on a new cosplay, eh? Well, you've been working. What's the project? I'm curious. While I'm on the subject, by the way, people, let's make you aware that tomorrow night I'm actually going to be streaming again. We're going to be back 2 nights in a row doing Wild Arms 2 tomorrow night. The reason being that on Saturday evening I'm actually planning to do a stream with my friend Nerdy Hound, but we do not know what we're playing yet. We've not decided. And the reason that we're doing a stream is because on Sunday we're hoping to be at Rakukon in Manchester for one day. So if you're going to be at Rakukon, keep an eye out for us. I don't know that character. That's pretty awesome, Aristojack. Sorry, Honda Fit. You are fit to lose. You've been fitted up by me. Can you hear those tyres? They sound absolutely no control, do they? Yeah, I get that, Aristojack. It can be quite a track, to be fair, if you're not close by. I mean, I'm quite lucky because I'm like halfway between Leeds and Manchester. So for me it's alright, but I know what you mean, it can be quite awkward. Avian, I'm unfit for any race at the moment. I need to seriously get back on my fitness. I need to get back to my training properly. At this rate, I might even have to pit to get new rear tyres because they're that bad in terms of wear. So the lack of grip is absolutely making this horrendous to drive. Oh, boo! Shame on you for that one, Joe. Shame, boo! You've let Avian and Alistair Jack influence you too much with that one. Shame, shame, shame. Shame, 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 shame on you. Oh, one of them's in the pit. The Mercedes has gone into the pit. Seriously, the Merc just went into the pit. I don't know why on earth he did that, but he's actually gone into the pit. The Mercedes has pitted. So unbelievably, the Honda Fit is now in a chance to catch him up. Well, we're just coming up to half race distance, people. Oh, yeah. I don't understand why this is even a race. This is silly. Oops, we're off. Gone wide. Getting serious tunnel vision driving this race because it's just so much of the same so quick. And he's gone off again. He's got less control of his car than I do. I actually look like I know what I'm doing here. I don't, trust me. I actually look like I have an idea of how it is to drive. Thank you for leaving the door open. I'll set that. tell me about it. Fake it till you make it. I got given that as advice as of training at work. What's the best way to be a presenter? Fake it till you make it. Act like you know what you're doing. I did that in a job interview the other day, actually. I had a job interview and I was proper faking it in places. What would you do in this situation? Well, I'd proceed to talk a lot of bollocks very, very confidently. It was like that forum, r/confidently incorrect. That was me in the interview. Trust me. Absolutely. It's like you get thrown into the deep end and hope for the best, don't you, sometimes, Avian? I've done that myself. It's been okay, actually. It's a good way of making it through. Of course, like blokes have been used to doing this for years when it comes to taking the cars to the garage. They take the car to the garage and the mechanic goes, what's wrong with it? They don't just go, oh, I don't know, it's broken. Well, surely you got an idea. Oh, just make it work. Now, what they start doing is coming up with all the bollocks. Well, you know, it's to start a motor gasket handle. You know, it's gone down from all the grub nuts. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I put new mats in, all new rubber mats, changed the gear stick. Yeah, no, it makes no sense. I don't know why it's broken. It's leaking fluid, but as I say, the mats are in order, everything's fine. The headlights work, I don't get it. Oh, that poor Honda Fit. For the third time, you have been lapped. You know what, Avon, you're probably not far off. Kaz Yamamuchi probably went, here son, draw me a racetrack. The kid doodled it on an extra sketch and then Kaz went, make this happen. Oh, we've crashed. We've crashed. But we've avoided going into the pits, so we will be able to escape. We did a David Coulthard at the Adelaide Grand Prix in 1994. We went straight on into the pit wall. Is the Merc going to spare itself the indemnity? Or am I going to catch him at the final corner? What do you think? The Unfit wasn't last. The Honda Fit did not come last. The Integra came behind the Fit. Unbelievable. Miracles have happened here today, people. The spirited little Honda that got so much stick from the audience has finally taken a scalp and come ahead of its big brother. Yeah, the Honda slightly more fit is a bit of a better description. Well, what a shocking race for that Mercedes. It made a terrible strategy call, went into the pits. Oh no. Oh, I feel so sorry for him. 2 laps at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Oh no. Can I lap everyone in 2 laps of Le Mans? Can I do it? This is home turf for the R89C versus the likes of the Honda Fit, the Mazda RX-7. This is going to be an absolute massacre. I was so fast, I had no control to avoid him. I can't drive Le Mans like I usually would, not with these tyres. Now bear in mind, this circuit is very, very low, high speed. There's a lot of the time that you're on full throttle. So my car is going to be absolutely blitzing them when it comes to pace. Probably would be an oil bath actually, or a brake fluid bath maybe. Radiator coolant bath, there's all kind of fluids it could be. As we're going down one of the fastest roads in the world. Well, I can't see me lapping anybody, but then again I don't know how fast they're going to take it through here. As we keep on motoring along here on the Circuit de la Sarthe in France, and we are quite far ahead of the field here. Headed to the start of the Porsche curves. Of course, last time we were here we were taking a 60s Jag in the classic car 1000 miles endurance series, which was awesome. So how much faster than the field are we? That's the question. We'll have to check that in a minute, Joe. Yes, we'll have to check what the percent completion is. After this tournament's over, we'll check it. I think last time we checked we were at something like 44% or something like that. Yeah, we're not going to be lapping anyone today, which is alright, I don't mind that as much. Considering the phenomenal speeds that we're covering Le Mans now. We are very much in the clear. 626 miles have been accrued on this clock so far, this car. We definitely put the miles on it. Feel the car twitching at high speed on these tyres. Very, very twitchy at high speed. You always think, how hard can it be to drive a car in a straight line when you've got this much downforce and this much horsepower? It's actually very tricky, because if you have any kind of issues with your tyres, put anything on the dirty line, you can just start spinning out or snaking. Not staking, snaking, where your car starts going from side to side. It's known as snaking. Others call it fishtailing. It's very common in rallying. You see it a lot of the time in rallying, Avian. Basically, you can't keep the back end of the car stable. That's what it means. Maybe I'm not speaking clear enough into this far too costly equipment I've got. Yeah, really costly equipment, people. I've really splurged the cash on this, I can assure you. Ah, we're at El Capitan. This is going to be an interesting race in this car. This is going to be very interesting. Oh, that's fair. If you had the volume down, that's perfectly understandable. I'd have the volume down on me as well if I could. Oh wow, I really can't got corner at high speed on these tyres. I was just drifting wider and wider and wider when I began that. That was insane. Ah, I like that. That's good multitasking, that Avian. That's incredible multitasking. Way better than any of the multitasking I can do, I can assure you of that. Yeah, that bump was always going to take me to the edge of the bridge. So this is a fantastic circuit, this. Brilliant circuit. Shame it never came back. Much like Red Rock Valley, this was the one and done layout. And now that's cool. As I say, don't worry about it, Avian. Take it nice and easy is my advice. Yeah, let's go sand dune driving, people. That's a wise way to go around the course, honest. I am absolutely dreadful at this course in this car. I'm as stable as a 30-year-old deck chair. I'm getting a bit of intense focus now because I actually want to do quite well on a lap or two for once. Even if I want to go wide like that, I'm still keeping in time. So it's all about keeping control, not letting go. Yes, I will be announcing the results of the vote before the end of the stream. Don't worry about that. Right, so Avian, someone's, is trapped in their house because of a rogue goose that's landed on the back deck and they can't get out. So you've literally had the Untitled Goose Game come to life in your neighbourhood. Or someone that, oh, what the just happened there? I must have caught his back end. That would have been a terrible crash. we'd have both been needing to get flown out of there by all the emergency EMTs, but as this is a video game, I get away with it. Yeah, kids, don't drive that like that on the real roads, please. You will be endangering lives, and you will be causing a lot of property damage. Yeah, while the Honda Fit might have been a jump scare there, Joe, nothing's more of a jump scare than the Toyota Vitz in GT3. That's the real jump scare. Knocked me off the road. The Honda Integra has been a very bad sport. He gained in just 2 corners. Yes, the one and only pink Vitz. Probably one of the biggest meme cars in all of Gran Turismo history. Along with the Ford GT at Rome, the Ford Model T Tourer from the S license in this game, and many other crazy cars that have featured over the years. Speaking of crazy cars, someone on the GT Planet forums made a suggestion. GT7 has announced that one of the cars that's coming next month is a Toyota Hiace ambulance. Now, that's a bit silly, it has to be said. But with VR support now being a thing in Gran Turismo 7 for those who can afford to pay for it, maybe they should bring back the moon buggy and have the moon missions. I imagine the moon missions in VR could be quite interesting, to say the least. Even if you're not someone who uses VR, it does sound quite appealing. Because yes, Gran Turismo 6 licensed NASA's Lunar Rover as a car to drive. He's calling it the Goose Saga, is he? I can't say I blame him, to be honest. That sounds terrifying. Straight into the wall. All that beautiful stone masonry has just been chipped by my priceless Nissan R89. Oh, is he going to get away for it? Is he going to get away with it? Can I lap him before the end of the race? That's the question. The answer is yes, I can. Sorry, Mercedes driver, you are a loser. They had the ambulance to see when we realised what it's become. It's a game which is certainly interesting, to say the least. Ooh, interesting. The pole's taken a turn. We're now tied once again. This is interesting. Oh, now it's taken another lead. Wow, okay. Keep them coming, people. Keep the votes coming in. Oh, no. 5 laps of Suzuka on sports tyres and a Nissan R89. Oh, wow. This is going to be fun. Yes, listen to the tyre squeals. The sports tyres cannot cope with the amount of torque that's being thrown through them. In terms of the pole at the moment, it's a very slight lead from Laguna Seca, but not by much. It's very close. So there's still time to get your votes in, people. We will be wrapping up the stream in about 2 hours' time. So you've got plenty of opportunity to get out there and decide which race you want to see taken on, because we will be doing one of the endurance rounds on the next stream. Oh, we've gone off at Dagenham 1. Many a Formula 1 driver has done that move, but very few have been able to hold on to it and get back on the circuit, so that could have been much worse than it was. Into the embarrassingly named hairpin, because no imagination. No, the course wasn't designed by me. Oh, God. Yeah, very little grip on these sports tyres. Very little, and I'm pushing the car too hard. Now, there's absolutely no way we're taking 130R flat. We are braking. Well, that's a long time ago, Joe. Yes, I mean, Suzuka sadly has had some very big accidents in its time. I don't like talking about them too much because obviously what happened in 2014. The good thing about Kvyat, of course, is that he walked away from it. That's one of the things that's been a hot topic at the moment in terms of like motorsport, is the driver safety at certain circuits. And I want to say a big thumbs down to Martin Brundle, because during the Spa weekend in Formula 1 a couple of weekends ago, he did a supposed safety feature on the safety of Eau Rouge Corner and the, accidents that have been there. And basically simply seemed to take the line of, well, motor race is dangerous, get on with it. He showed his 1950s mentality. To say the least, I wasn't impressed. I expected better from him. Questions like, it's dangerous, just get on with it, disrespects the likes of Antoine Hubert and many others who've been involved in either fatal or near fatal incidents in that corner. And something does need to change. I don't know what, but I'm sure there's a solution that can be found. Yes, I do remember the accident, but I don't like glorifying it. just about held that together. Just being the key word. That sounds like something out of an Alfred Hitchcock movie, that avian. Owner taps the glass and the goose is like, consider this a challenge, and starts hawking at it. Say, where I live, there's a series of canals nearby, and they have a lot of geese on, and they can be very, very violent. I've been walking or running along them, and they just start hissing at me. But then again, I'm used to that. Like, I'd hiss at me if I came past. I'd be like, "Oh, it's you, Swishbone." Yeah, 2 hours left on the clock and the poll has opened up again. This is awesome. So thank you all you people who voted for start. We are going to crown a winner from the options, and that will be the endurance race we do next week. Probably on the next Wednesday. It might be the next Thursday. I'm not sure what day of the week it's going to be. But that'll be next week when we take it on. And there's the Honda Fit on its home circuit. And it's not even completed 2 laps. Well, 3 laps, sorry, before it's been lapped. The thing is, if you lay on a car horn to a goose, Avian, it might think it's a mating call. You know, honk. Oh, I'd buy that for $1. Or is that just me being a weirdo? Don't answer that. Say, when I was a beer drinker, Goose Island's one of my favourite breweries. I used to drink Goose Island IPA like it was water. It's a fair point. It might go and investigate, and that'd clear the path. So that's a fair point, actually, Avian. I didn't think of that. Evidently, the handbrake is not something this car likes. It literally got stuck in gear. That's kind of cool. See you later. Strike while the iron's hot. If you've got an exit opportunity, take it. Almost there. We're into the final few corners, and we're going to try and take the Mazda up the inside, and we're going to run out of road, so we're having to handbrake turn it, but we made it work. That's not the way you should be lapping traffic in this game, but it works for me, so that's all that matters. Nope, I got too greedy, way too cocky. And now I'm stuck. I was drifting more than the RX-7 then. Sorry, Beamer, but not this time. Oh, ho, ho! Rear-ended after the race is finished. So the question is, where is the final race of the tournament taking place? And then we can get on to a different tournament. See what car we win for this as well. I'm hoping there'll be a nice like GT car or something, but we don't know yet. We'll see what we get. After all, we are in the extreme races, so we should get something extremely good. Oh no, it's 2 laps of the Nordschleife. 2 laps of the Nürburgring on sport tyres. This is gonna suck. Get comfortable, people. This is going to take a while. I had a sinking feeling it would be the Nürburgring at the end, and I was right. That's a fair point, actually, Avian. Yes, it could also throw me and give me another one of those 1886 cars. So let's see what we get. But first, we got to get around. Get around, gotta get around. Why does that sound familiar? I don't know why, but that sounded very familiar. A song. Okay, I don't know which one, but fair enough. I'll take your word for it, Avian. So far, it's actually holding up okay. So far being the keyword, because it's still early in the lap. But it's holding up for now, and that's cool. Oh, no, we've gone too wide. The Beach Boys? That was not what I was going for, but okay. I mean, there's worse bands than the Beach Boys. Not personally my thing, but that's cool. So now I know why it's familiar, at least. Thank you for that, Avian. At least I now know why it's familiar. Now we're making some real progress. This is speed. Nope, that's no good. So completely the wrong line there and there, but I'll get away with it, I think. Yeah, that'll be okay. So here we go, we're headed for the dreaded carousel. Except, Warride go boo. Yeah, that's right. That's how you gain time on this circuit. You listen to it feeling for the grit that just isn't there at the moment. Well, this actually holding up quite nice. I'm surprised that this has been so smooth to drive on this lap. Been a few mistakes doing more down to me than the car. I expected it to really struggle with grip, but even there I was finding power in the middle of the corner. I'm quite surprised. I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like there's a car. Oh no, it's just going very slowly. There was a car that looks like it was stuck at the carousel, but it's not. Whoops. That's not a good way to start that corner. And that was down to me, not down to the car. You think it's not the Honda Fit? You think it's justice for the fit, do you, Joe? Oh, car snapped under braking then, snapped to the left. So the second lap's nowhere near as smooth as the first, thus far. I don't think the Honda Fit drivers will be too bothered though, because he's managed to get at least one scalp. So it's a big, big get. now we're feeling the speed. We have the need for speed. The Gran Turismo rather than Need for Speed games. Because at some point I might do a playthrough of Need for Speed Underground 2, because it'd be interesting to see how that holds up after all these years. That was a game very of its time. The only problem with Need for Speed Underground 2 though, I'd have to play it with no music, because they had a lot of licensed music in that game. Likes of Killing Joke, the likes of Rise Against, the likes of Ministry, I think the Prodigy were in it. I'm almost certain that Snoop Dogg randomly was in it, Skin Dread were in it. So that's a soundtrack I wouldn't be able to play on the internet. We've seen what happened with the Tony Hawk's games. They get blocked all over the world. So there's that to bear in mind. But it'll be in the future, that'll be quite a long way away, because I don't want to do 2 racing games at the same time. Purely because they say it's like two racing games will go on for far too long. But Underground 2 could be quite fun to do. Had a very interesting style to it. I say, I know the game will work. Getting the game to work is not going to be a problem. In fact, I think there's actually an Underground 2 mod that you can get, where you can make it absolutely gorgeous. I've seen screenshots of it, but I've never actually obviously got it running, so I'd have to look into it. I'm not sure what the settings were and everything else. So probably running like, you know, a mod to improve a game. You're never quite sure how long it's going to last for. All it takes is one salty company, and the whole thing comes crashing down. Take Two Interactive with GTA San Andreas. Almost there. We're almost at the end of this championship, people. We've been battling for over an hour, but we're not far off. And there we go. That should be the championship. So, considering it was on sports tyres, that was pretty damn fast, actually. I'm quite surprised at how quick that car lapped the Nürburgring. And that should be a clean sweep of races. And a very dominant championship, considering the car I was in. Anything less than that would have been a joke, to say the least. Yep, there we are. There's the Polyphony Digital Cup. 200,000 credits is mine. So we now have a cool 3 million credits. And that is the end of the tournament. So, the question is, what car is our prize? Let's wind it up and find out. It's the... Oh! An S2000 GT car. That's not what I expected. Interesting looking design. Very basic. Almost like the kind that you'd find in the open lobbies in Forza Motorsport 4 back in the 360 days. Interesting looking car, to say the least. Can't say it's exactly hot on the list. Right, so there we go. We have that saved to the tournaments. The question is now, what else have we got left? We've got the Formula GT. We can't answer that because we've not got a GT car. So that's the only one left there, believe it or not. So, the question now is, what's our status? We are at 47.5% completion. We are just 2.5% away. So, with that in mind, I'm thinking one of the ways to potentially build up some actual championships here is to see if we can do any of the one-mate races. We've already done that one. I've not got a March, but I do have... Oh, the Club Z. Right, let's get one of the GT Club cars. That's what we'll do. We will get the one of the Nissan racing cars, which is the Club GTs. That's the GTR. We don't want that one. Where are you? I know you're here somewhere. No, not you. You can't hide forever. Where'd you go, Nissan? Right, okay, it's not that one. That's the Motul Pitwork Z, which is a good car, actually, from what I remember. Yeah, that's the one. We'll use the Motul Pitwork Z. So I'm almost certain that will qualify. We might as well get some game progression. Yep, no restrictions at all. And we got 3 races. We're starting in New York. New York. Oh, yes. Now, let's quickly go and check our tyres. See which ones we've got equipped. So I don't know if I use this with sport tyres at some point. No, medium R3s. And they're the only ones I've got. So, fair enough. We are taking on New York, New York. Yeah, this should be a bit of a walkover. But the game says no restrictions, and all is fair in love and war. The thing with this car is it feels detuned. It feels like I've not got a lot. There's one of the ambulances in next month's download. It feels detuned. I'm sure I've had a faster version of this. Not that I need it for this car. Not that I need it for this tournament. Anyways, it's not a big deal. Oh! I clipped the inside curb and the car took off. That was me. Nothing to do with the car. Yeah, the high curbs then ones. Well, this one here is flat as a pancake, so you can cut the corner. Technically, that's going outside the lines and breaking the racing line rules, but there's no penalties in this game, so there's nothing to stop you doing it. I also can use one of the Silvias, or I might use the Mazda RX-7 to do or the RX-8. So I'm sure they got a championship race for one of those as well. Nice little reference there, the ticker tape parade. It's a Polyphony Digital. That's lap 1. Yeah, I could brake much later there. The brakes in this car are fantastic. The brakes are phenomenal. They're so good because I keep actually underestimating the distance that I need. I'm like putting way too much braking power that I shouldn't be doing. So I'm going to be brave. Much more like it. See, the engine sounds absolutely gutless. It isn't, but it sounds it. And the old fabled final lap. Here we go. Yeah, it is a fun car to drive. You're not wrong. It's quite a nice car to drive when you get your braking distances right. And I pushed it a little too far then, but got away with it. So it might not sound that great, but it's a lot of fun to drive. I love the little details in the background, like the cranes that are building the apartments on the skyline. It's such a nice little detail that where they've got unfinished buildings that are being built in the centre of Manhattan. And the little cameras flashing in the side as well, you know, people taking pictures of the cars. That's race one. We've got another 4 to do, I believe, and then we can find out what car we unlock here. It's probably going to be one of the old 1960s cars, because the manufacturer ones don't usually hold the best cars. Although there was that Mercedes one that gave us the Le Mans car, not Le Mans car, sorry, the touring car, which was brilliant when we did the DTM tournament. Yeah, that's how you do it. Tick, 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 done. Next. I do actually love the layout for this circuit. I'd love to see it come back in proper high definition quality. I do actually love how fast and flowing it is. It's a circuit that is a lot of fun to drive no matter what car you're in. Whether you're in a really low powered K car or a Group C Le Mans car, it's just so much fun. On the inside, all pretty smooth thus far, so great. Very easy, up the inside. No braking required. Light dab of the brakes, but nothing too serious. Same again, and onto the outside. And here, it's all about not lifting. Don't lift, don't lift, don't lift, don't lift. So easy to tempt yourself into doing it. Don't. You can put your foot all the way down there. Could have possibly actually taken a few more Ks through that corner. I was a bit too slow. So that is planted. That is so beautiful to drive. This would have been perfect for the endurance race for this. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad we did it with the DTM car. It was nice to like do it in a different class of vehicle where we had to really push hard to maintain our tyres. I really liked it because we had to work on our pace naturally. We are very much in the pound takes and job done. Yeah, that was never likely to be much competition with a JGTC car, was it? But I'm not complaining because it's another W in the column. The more of them we get, the easier it's going to be for us to hopefully get to 50% completion. It'd be nice to do that tonight if possible, but it depends on how much percent you get for these tournaments. Ah, well there you are. The drama is over, is it, Avian? The Goose War has come to an end. And there's no angry honking, so it's all ended peacefully. Yeah, they never had a hope there. They really didn't. So we're back at El Capitan. A beautiful, beautiful road course. I'm guessing this is like in somewhere like Colorado or somewhere like that is where it's set in the world. But I don't think we ever found out, but it's a beautiful location. Lovely scenery, great sweeping mountain roads, you got the tunnel, you got the crash, you got the jump, and of course it even has the rallycross section on the other side. Oh, but it also has very, very inviting barriers. There is that too. I love the flat audience. If you keep an eye out for them, you can see the 2D sprites. And they are funny. Well, look at the side there. Check it out. Check out those 2D sprites on the audience. The Rocky Mountains, that'd be quite nice once it was up in Canada. It'd be nice to have circuit representation there. GT7 led everyone to think that they were going to be adding the Canadian Grand Prix circuit, the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, to GT7 because it had been found in the code. Has it been announced? Nope. You can only play that for now on the Formula 1 games, to my knowledge. It's a shame because it's one of my favourite tracks. Hosted my favourite ever Grand Prix in 2011 when it rained and became really treacherous. The drama in that race was unmatched. British Columbia on the west side, could be there too. They're very mountainous, very remote. Whoa! Lost all control going over that crest then. Evidently this car is way too powerful for that jump. Walter Roll said it best. Doesn't like jumps. If you want to fly, you'd be a pilot, not at the wheel of a motor car. Automobilista 2 might have that track as well. I'm not sure because I've not played that game. It'd be cool to see it represented elsewhere because the circuit is a bit underused, to be honest. The likes of like Road America, Road Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Valencia, Barcelona, Silverstone, Catalunya, Monza, Mount Panorama, Sao Paulo. They're all used and they're all great. But it's strange how circuits like Gilles Villeneuve don't crop up that often. Now we are on the attack. This time, I'm braking. And I still nearly went into the wall because I lost so much control. Interesting. I'll see if I can find out some more information on that. Then jokes. It sounds kind of cool. It's like how much I love Metropolis Street Racer on the Sega Dreamcast, which is basically 3 world cities that have been mapped out. It's amazing the detail they found in them. But yes, so say the poll is still open for the the endurance race that we do on the next stream, and it's a pretty tight one at the top at the moment. It's quite tight up there, so there's still time to cast your votes, still time to decide. This could swing either way at the moment. We are teetering on the edge between a couple of choices. It's looking pretty good. Laguna Seca. It's got to be done. We got to do Laguna Seca. So, yeah, but now we're in trouble. This car's holding me right up. It's like, get out of my way. Move! In my best Jeremy Clarkson voice. Yeah, I'm going to use the pit lane to pass you because I can. Take the Formula 1 line and look at that. That's how you do some passing, people. Right up the inside. Beautiful moves. Three laps of Laguna Seca, and unlike in the Daimler-Benz Motorwagen, we can actually get around this circuit. But we can still go off. That's not how to take that corner, people. That's not how you should drive it. So when this track first debuted in Gran Turismo 2, I absolutely hated it. But I've grown to really like it over the years. I think the reason I didn't like it in GT2 is the physics didn't feel very good for it. That's right, Avian, yes. The slight incline will not defeat us now. We will get to the end. You like Laguna Seca a lot, do you, Joe? I'd say it's a good circuit. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting challenge. I love the video that Top Gear did years ago, where Jeremy Clarkson did a lap in a Honda NSX and then tried to beat his time for real using a real NSX. And it showed just how difficult it was to take a game and use it as the basis for driving at the time. Obviously, the GT Academy and everything else has proven you can do it now. It's got a lot closer. But it was still fascinating to see him like doing all these tricks to try and make it, and he just didn't have the same option for it. But it was still pretty cool to watch. The sight of him walking up the corkscrew to show just how steep it was brilliant. I remember this. So let's take the Aston Martin DB9. That's not a car, that's just pornography. Ah, the Honda NSX, that'll do nicely. So here we go, headed for the finish line, and we've only got one more race after this. At Gran Valley Speedway, of all places. Which is interesting because the two races that are winning in the poll are Grand Valley and Laguna Seca. So you get to actually see the circuits that you have the vote for. With just the El Capitan as well. So this is kind of interesting. This tournament has shown all 4 races that you can vote for in the poll. You've actually seen the circuits. So Gran Valley Speedway, is it the full circuit or is it the East course? Let's find out. I'm assuming it's going to be the full course. We're going in reverse for 2 laps of the full course. Considered by many Gran Turismo players the signature dish of Gran Turismo, this circuit. And rebirthed in a very odd way in the most recent game as a highway. Despite this circuit actually being one of the more convincing original circuits. It's strange, they left Trial Mountain as it was, apart from changing like the end chicane, but they decided to rebuild this into some kind of weird Californian highway. I'm confused by it makes no sense to me. This is always a great circuit. I don't understand why they remodeled it as a highway. It made no sense to me. brakes into the nice 90-degree right. Now, of course, for those of you who are there for the stream, this is the track which scuppered my very brave attempt to win the GT World Championship in a much lower class car. When I tried to win it in the Mercedes CLR, it was just not quite up to snuff. And this was the track where the tyres were too much of a stretch, and we failed. It isn't long lap, this, it must be said. It's a much longer lap than you think. Too much wheel spin on the outside there. Into the final stretch, and we're way in the lead. Not much of a surprise given the car I brought to this tournament. Just because I want to be a troll. I'll do a Michael Schumacher at the Silverstone Grand Prix and win it in the pit lane. That was adding injury to insult by doing that way, it must be said. So we've got in front, and there's no championship bonus for this because it's not a championship. But we should still get a prize car, I believe. And we have won a 1971 240ZG. It's a nice looking car. It's basically a knockoff of the Jaguar E-Type. That's what that is. Tell me I'm wrong, people. Tell me that is not a copy of the Jaguar E-Type. Yes, because you all saw my Jag for quite a long time, didn't you? When we raced 1,000 miles in my Jag. So exactly how much have we got now? We were 47.5, we're now 48.3. We're itching closer. Yes, we are. Now, I'm sure I saw somewhere in my collection a Mazda RX-8. Let's see if I can use this, because I'm sure I saw an RX-8 tournament at one point. Yes, it works, and it's a championship, interestingly enough. There's actually a championship here. The question is the car I've got strong enough, or have I actually taken on a handicap chance? Let's find out. It looks like the Purple Flash. Like the name, the Purple Flash. Love that. It's about A-spec points of 10 apparently, so we're actually in a proper car which is more consistent. It's the RX-8 concept. I've never driven this car, so I'll be interested to see how it drives compared to its contemporaries. We could have qualified, but we decided to stick it out. The RX-8 having a rotary engine has no torques. There's also one of the pioneers of the pillarless car, the doors at the back where there was no pillars between them. The question is, can I catch the lead Mazda? That's the question. So this is actually going to be a tough race to win. And that means it's going to be a tough championship to win. Well, until they went wide, they went on completely the wrong racing line. I was about to say the long racing line, and technically they did, but I couldn't get my words out then. I got massively tongue-tied. They took the wrong racing line, and I was through within a lap. Not bad. Not a fan of this engine though. Listen to the sound of that. It's horrible. Of course, the car I'm driving here is bone stock. I've not actually added any modifications to it at all. I didn't even do the oil trick to get extra horsepower in it. Because that could be an interesting challenge one time. Can you beat Gran Turismo 4 using only prize cars and only a stock car version of it? So no hard tyres, no changed gearboxes, no changed brakes, no souped up engines. That could be quite an interesting challenge. Well, this is a race series where I've got to be a little more attentive because of the fact that I'm not going to be able to blitz the field on pure power. I've got to make sure that I'm keeping them behind me, and it looks like we're going to do it. And yay, race 1 in the bag. Not bad. Won by 5.7 seconds. Kind of impressive when you got 2 laps. So we averaged 2.5 seconds a lap faster in the concept version. 2000. Yes. So next race. Where are we going? That's the question. Oh, we're at special stage Route 5 at night. Okay, here we go. Notice that the car has Brembo brakes, which is pretty awesome. That's a nice little feature. The red calipers. I don't know if I'm actually really liking the challenge of the slower cars. Well, I say the slower cars, I mean the more like entry level machines. There's something about trying to extract the maximum line because you've like not got much in the way of a power advantage. So it's kind of cool having to actually really focus on your line, or if you get your line wrong, trying to scrub the extra speed somewhere. Like there, I got the revs completely wrong. The car got stuck in the wrong gear. The only advantage being I was on the perfect line for that part. So that's pretty awesome. Interestingly, this circuit back on the original game, Gran Turismo 1, had a high res mode. But what it did was removed all the background detail, so it was just the track. And you raced on a PlayStation 1 at 60 frames per second, I think it was. And it was incredible how fast it went. But of course there was no detail, so it was a bit of a lonely experience at the same time. Yeah, the car is kind of gutless at low speed in the gears. It struggles to get the revs going on the standard stock setup. Here we go, we're making smoke towards the finish line and we are way in the lead. The computer is nowhere near us. And another 10 A-spec points in the bag, very nice and smooth. And once again we won this time by 9 seconds, we were nearly 5 seconds a lap faster. That's really rather crazy. 5 seconds a lap quicker is insane, considering that this car is stock. I've not done anything to it. So we've got 8-point lead in the championship thus far, as we head out onto the third race, which takes us to the 90s version of the Fuji Speedway. Okay, this time we will be starting in a grid start. I'm going to split the atom. I managed it. Oh, that was nearly Daniel Ricciardo-esque, but unfortunately he's managed to find his way back through. However, I might hold the outside line. And that is a very good move indeed, if I do say so myself. Oh, but that's not. That's a terrible move. Still, we managed to find grip on the dirt. I don't quite know how I did that. I'm in a sports car that's rear-wheel drive, and I somehow found grip. Arthur Weissenberger asking what's the goal at the moment. The goal for this streams will start is we're trying to get to 50% completion. We started at 48 point, I think it was 48.7 or 48.2 or something similar like that. So what we're doing here is we're trying to win the Mazda RX-8 tournament, and that will hopefully get us near the 50% completion bonus. And good evening, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Thank you for checking it out. Let's say thus far we've already won the World Championship, but what we're trying to do is win as much of the game as possible using prize cars. We've had to make an exception for 2 events. The front wheel drive tournament, because of a memory card glitch, I lost the front wheel drive car you get in the license test, and it's impossible to get a truck for the truck test, so I had to buy a Dodge Ram. Other than that, the cars have been prize cars. And that's essentially what we're trying to do. We're doing a prize cars only run. Downhill braking zone. Yeah, just about got that right. Problem with the downhill braking zone is you can never be sure just exactly how quickly. I don't know if it's going to be possible to hit 100% avian. There's some tournaments that I get the feeling you can only enter with specific cars that you can't win. You know, like, and you want to saw the tournaments earlier, like this one for example, the Mazda RX-8 one. I think there's certain manufacturers who you don't win the cars for, but I might be wrong. I don't know if it's possible. Like for example, Subaru have a race called the 360 race, and it is one of the dreariest races of all time. You're driving like a 1950s car with like 18 horsepower or something stupid like that. And I'm pretty sure you can only get the car by buying it or winning it from the same race. I'm almost certain of that because I remember doing it on the PlayStation 2. It was one of the most boring races I've ever done in my life. I think it was like Tsukuba or somewhere like that, and it took forever. In fact, Gran Turismo 7 has a race very similar where you're driving in the original Fiat 500s, I think. And it is absolutely awful. It is so slow. It's not quite as slow as the 1886 Motorwagen, but it's not far off. That's another victory thus far. How fast are we coming ahead of the audience this time? 6 seconds. 3 seconds a lot quicker. Yes, that's right, Arta. Done the driving missions already. I did quite a few of them offline at one point on a save. I picked up the save and did a load of them live. And it was interesting because the 34th mission, the legendary Mercedes SLR McLaren at the Nordschleife. Oh yeah. We had fun doing that one, didn't we, people? There was no rage at all doing that mission. And no, Avian, you can't upgrade the 1886 car. It's a special car. The special cars like the Daimler Motor Carriage, the Ford Model T Tourer, the Nike One 2022, they're all cars that are special cars. You can't do anything to them. You can't even put on wheel rims. You can do nothing to them. They are literally show cars. That's all they are. I mean, don't get me wrong, putting nitrous in the 1886 Motorwagen could be quite interesting. But unless there's a way to do it via mods, I don't believe there's a way to do it. I have seen footage on a video where someone, basically using some kind of hacking device, made a custom race of the 1886 motor carriages. And it starts out really slow and then suddenly the speeds go ridiculous. So some kind of hack. I have seen footage of it, but I've no idea how the creator made it happen. So this stream tonight has been very El Capitan heavy. We've had quite a lot on there. And as I say, don't forget, the poll is still open for the endurance race I do on the next stream. You can check that out at the top of the live chat right now. And it's quite close between two options. So there's still time before the stream to affect this. I will then close the poll and announce it live. And that will be the first race we do on the next stream. It might be the only race we do on the next stream, depending on how long it takes. We did the 1,000 miles live and you saw how long that took. Thousand miles in my Jag. Good times in the Jag. Now the Saturday stream is still planned for the usual time, 8 PM my time area. We're not doing it early, no. It'll be 8 PM. I say the only reason I've not scheduled it is because I don't know what game we're playing, but I will be finding out, and I'm hoping I'll be able to have a schedule sometime tomorrow or on Friday. So there will be a schedule for it. A stream is going to happen. It's perfectly understandable, Avian. If that's quitting time, I'd be focused on it too if I were you. Don't worry about it. Oh, I thought I caught it. I thought I'd done enough to catch that, and I didn't. Ah, food festival, that's awesome. Food festivals are cool. Be the old street food, try all different things. Quite popular over here in the UK actually, we get them quite a lot. So I'm actually quite enjoying this car to drive. It's quite nice, it's quite implanted. It's got a little bit of skittishness to it, but not too much. So it's, despite its distinct lack of horsepower, or at least that's how it feels, it doesn't feel like a really laborious car to drive. I'm able to point it and squirt it into the corners quite easy. The only thing I will say is that the revs are very unpredictable. But again, that might just add to the challenge of driving it. You see there where you felt the car just starting to drift away from me. But I like that. It means that you obviously got to monitor just how much turn you put into the corner, which is awesome. Completely needless, but so what? Oh, nice! Taste of the Danforth, and it's been out of action since 2019. Well, sounds like something you definitely should go and check out. Then that sounds awesome. So that's 4 races down. I think we've probably won the tournament now, but we've still got time to find out. I get the feeling there's going to be at least one more race. I imagine it'll be a 5 racer this one. Yep, there we go. As the RX-8 concept, one from the license test, is doing me in good stead. Oh, it's at Sukabar. Of all the places. Okay, let's go. I mean, the tournament's sewn up anyway. We've won the tournament, so let's see where we can go. This one's more of a fun race. And these are the kind of cars where this circuit is a lot of fun. Because now you've got cars which are very equal in a very small space. Lots of corners. It's a really fun challenge to get in here and try and maximise the pace from the car. The only problem with this circuit is I get flashbacks to the terrible B licence test where you drive a Mini 1 on normal tyres and it's a guided lap behind the Skyline pace car. Ugh, that was a horrible licence test. I hated that. And the intrinsic lack of power in this car is holding me back somewhat, so this could be a difficult race to win. Especially if I get punted when I'm starting a corner, that doesn't help. Yeah, it's crucial you keep the speed above 40 odd miles an hour to keep the revs, which is tricky with hairpins like this one coming up. Yeah, you see how the revs just dip below 4,000 and at that point I had no power. That's how this car has got a weakness. So this is a race I might have to settle for third or second on, which is disappointing. But we shall see, there's still time yet. So this is bone stock, this car. I've not done anything to it. And it's definitely showing on this track. Of all the tracks though, where that would be where it was going to show, I didn't think this would be the one. I expected it somewhere a bit more open, like Laguna Seca or Trial Mountain, but nope. It's here at Sycamore. It's just not got the legs out of the corners. It's got good grip. In fact, it's got excellent grip. But the problem is keeping the revs. You see, I just feel the car. It's almost like it's got turbo lag. I know it doesn't because this is a naturally aspirated car, but that's what it feels like. I'm waiting for the turbo to kick in on like an old 1980s Porsche 944. Still, we can play the old-fashioned technique. Not entirely cricket the way it's up that second place, but I'll take it as long as I can keep it. Again, I could have qualified as well. That would have made a big difference by qualifying, but it's fine. It's okay. It's only A-spec points. It's not important. Oh, well, that's amazing, Jay. You say you live only 2.5 hours away from the Nürburgring. That's fantastic. I say at some point you should go and check it out and just go and enjoy it. See all the cars going around it. You can have some major fun. If you're a driver yourself, you can pay a small fee to do a lap of the ring, but be warned, you may invalidate your insurance if you're seen carrying any kind of clocks in there for timing your lap. That's what happens here in the UK anyway. So there we are, we've won the tournament. We came second in the final race. You're going at the ring for a full day. I think last time I heard it was something daft like. I think it was like €10 a lap or something silly like that. So the car we've won is... Oh! A Mazda RX-8 Le Mans car. That's kind of cool, actually. So it's a concept Le Mans racer. Aha, you're going to hit the ring on a bike. That's a brave, brave thing to do. I admire it, but it's brave. So what's our percentage now? 49.2. We are so close. Right. Bear with me a moment. What I'm looking for is another car that I can do one of these tournaments in. Where are you? Not the 240ZG, I don't want that. Nope, nope. Can't find it now. Where are you? I'm looking for my Nissan Silvia. I've got one. I've got a Nissan Silvia here somewhere. I was going to race it. Can enjoy this. Bit of jazz. That's the Nissan motor piece. Unless I'm hallucinating, but I'm sure I had it. I'm sure I had one. I'm probably staring it in the face and I've not realised. No, that's the LM car. That's not what I'm after. If I can't find it, I'm gonna have to switch to Plan B. I wonder if there's a Mitsubishi one that'll work with the FTO. Let's find out. Lancer Evo or the Mirage Cup. Don't think I got either of those cars. I don't think I got an Evo, and I'm sure I've not got a Mirage. Not got a Civic, so I can't do that one. This is me trying to find other tournaments to use. Going back here again. So you've got the March, it's the Sylvia Sisters, but I'm sure I had one. Unless I'm thinking of the RX-8. And that's what I might be thinking of, actually. I might be thinking of, I remember seeing a weird old 80s car. The Altezza and the Vitz, I've not got either of those, I don't think. I don't think I got an Altezza anyway. I've not got any Acuras. And they don't have this one here anyway. Oh yeah, there it is, the Subaru 360. It's the only car you can get. I was right. This is where I'm at the point where my events have dried up, which is annoying. What's Lancia got in there? Nope. Pagani Wab in there? Nope. Alpha? Oh, you can either have the 147 or the Giulietta Sprint. I wonder if I've got either of those cars. Out of curiosity. Yeah, this is the menu management part of the stream, people. I do apologise. That's not the one that counts. It's not the Giulia. And it's not the 155 either. I'm almost certain of that. It won't be one of those. Oh no, the Giulia Sprint. Is that the one I've got? Let me just quickly go and check. Giulia Sprint 1600. I don't think it's going to count. It's the Speciale, it's not the 1600, so it won't count. That's really irritating. See what I mean about the price cars situation, Avium? This is the situation we face. About the UK. What about the Jag? Nothing there. Lotus. They have the Elise and then Lotus Classics, which is either the Europa or the Elan. Don't think I have either of those. I'm almost certain of it. Jensen, no, nothing there. Not got any caterers anyway. Not got any of those. Oh god, there's a mini tournament where you can basically take any mini Cooper or the Cooper on a Mini 1. I don't think I've got a Mini, but I can always try and check one. Because say, unless I do some of the big ones, yeah, so I've not got any minis, that's the proof. And then for Lotus, yes, the Esprit doesn't count. Can't use the Lotus. It's the option stream, that's the one I thought I had. I knew I had one that was wrong. No, that's not going to count. The Ginetta, Alpine. Out of curiosity, did they have a tournament, Alpine, in France? They do. Oddly enough, both of these cars count. Right. Out of morbid curiosity, let's give it a try. I think we might have found a tournament. In an estate car. We're gonna go for it. First of all, we want an edge. Let's try and get some extra power in the car. I do love these little features of, like, you know, the mechanics going under the car. It's great. It counts. It's a championship with a 50,000 credit prize. Wow. Let's see just how hard this is going to be. This is where we will be battling to the end. We might finish this tournament tonight, we might not. So we're all in the same car. So this is going to be one of the more interesting races. Once again, the aggressive AI is causing problems. Especially when they're coming up at speed from behind. Wow, this car is twitchy. I may have to withdraw from this and soup it up. I just don't think it's got the power. That's one hell of a spoiler, that, Joe. You're ruining the race for the audience. Yeah, I'm gonna have to withdraw from this. I've not got the power. I'm gonna throw some power into this car. Yep, I'll withdraw. It's fine. Because I want to soup the car up. It needs a bit more doing to it, just to make it a bit more competitive. Yeah, you could, they seem to have just better control, so it's better to spend a bit of money because I've got plenty of money available, let's be honest here. And let's get some tyres on the car that can actually do some damage as well. I'm not going to get softs, but mediums will be alright. So I've got millions, so I might as well spend it. Let's soup it up. It's the advantage of doing a prize cars only run. You can get quite a lot of money quite quickly. Now let's get some racing tyres on this car, and we'll probably be in a better position to get it moving. Probably won't need to do anything else to it. Right, let's try that. Let's see how different this car feels now that we've pretty much doubled the power of the car. We put another 100 horsepower into it. Well, the A-spec points have dropped to 2, so that tells you a lot. Oh wow, massive wheelie. Yeah, you can definitely feel the difference now. Yeah, that's made all the difference. To be honest, the racing tyres might have been enough, but it's fine. Yeah, much better grip. So much more planted. It's like racing tyres go boo. It's an interesting point you put across there, Arthur. It's an interesting point. As I say, I mean, it's the lower cars, they can lose time from them. You're not wrong. I mean, it's like I think when I was doing the 1,000 miles, I had to really learn how to control my throttle because the jag that I used was absolutely mullering the rear tyres. And like being able to make the tyres last, and that was the critical thing to win that tournament. So there's definitely something to that for sure. Bit of a nice drift there. I say, when I was doing the International A license, and you had a license test 16, where you have the Nissan R92 CP, and you've not got any assists on in terms of, like, you know, traction control. Getting out of the Mulsanne hairpin with that car was a nightmare. In the end, I started just using manual gears as a way to control the torque. It's the only way I could get through it. Yeah, a better gearbox would have been handy here. Unfortunately, I've topped out and there's nothing I can really do about it. But we're not doing bad. We're just going to keep on driving. It does show in this game though how much you can break it with the upgrades. Upgrades can totally transform the race. They could have done a better way of balancing that in many ways. I mean, that's why one of the things I do like about the more modern games is where the restrictions are much more than just your tyres or your car type. You have the performance points situation, and it's very easy to make a car that you think is compliant and then it's not. Of course, I was one of the many people who, with Gran Turismo 7, took advantage of that and used the SRT Tomahawk X to credit grind on Tokyo. Because we found a car that should have had like 1200 performance points and we got it down to 600. It was ridiculous. A car with like a 300 mile an hour top speed and 4-wheel drive was somehow legal against like the Honda NSX and the GTR Skyline. They never had a hope. This car's pretty twitchy though. I'm quite surprised at how twitchy this car is. I know it's a 70s car, so it's not quite got the suspension of the more modern vehicles, and we take a look at it from a distance. Even though it's quite a low profile car, it's not, you can see already how much it's bouncing, so the suspension is clearly not designed for high speed, is it? I mean, look at that. That was twitching like anything. It was a very twitchy ride. Still, I was one of the 3 1600 Vs. Oh, yep, see? Even the computer went drifting around the corner, and you noticed that? Even the AI couldn't control this car. So that's the Renault Alpine Cup Race 1. Complete. So what is the next car? In terms of what track even? Next car? I'm already thinking ahead to the prize cars. We've not even got to the end of the race yet. Trial Mountain, the old favourite. One of the great circuits of Gran Turismo. Which for some reason was moved from being set in Scotland to Oregon in the USA. To this day it doesn't make sense. They had the Easter eggs like the Loch Ness Monster and everything else, and apparently it was in the USA all along. Because of course we've got way too many circuits in the UK in Gran Turismo 7, don't we? We have Goodwood and I've got nothing. The American circuits, on the other hand, they got some great circuits. They didn't need Trial Mountain. They could have left that for us. Are we going to take off? No, we're not. So I will give the designers of Gran Turismo credit, Gran Turismo 7 credit. In the driving missions in that game, there's one of the more interesting missions I've ever seen, where you're in charge of a Ford F-150 pickup truck, and you've got like a gallon of fuel, and essentially you've got to try and go as far as you can before you run out of fuel. And it's all about hypermiling. It's all about trying to like essentially free roll and everything else. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Oh wow, so you drove the Dodge with a steering wheel, Arthur, and you say it felt weird. Very high centre of gravity, I imagine, in the Dodge. So I imagine it was very easy to get like body roll and lean, and potentially even tipping, because obviously it's a bigger truck. Got V8 power and a very stiff suspension. So the old Dodge Ram is a very classic machine, but definitely one you got to respect, or you'll tip over in it quite easily. It's like driving a Ford Transit van, which of course RIP to the Queen of the Ring herself, Sabine Schmidt, who famously took a Ford Transit van round the Nordschleife in 10 minutes and 8 seconds. That's just ridiculous. How can you get a van that fast around that circuit? That is superhuman. With a passenger and full load, she did it in 10 minutes and 23 seconds. Truly amazing driver, and we miss her dearly. The wheels just shook, did they, Arta? I understand with the amount of four-wheel drive and the amount of torque, I can imagine that. If it's got like quite high force feedback, I imagine it would. Whoa! We went drifting under braking there, the car didn't like that. Hey, watch out for the guys in the boat. Check them out, right by the logo there, can you see them? Guys fishing in the lake. They're looking out for Nessie. Trying to get a catch. Oh, no, I cut that corner too much. So, I'll tell you what, as much as this is a difficult car to drive, I'm really quite liking the challenge of it. Like, catching the rear end is very, very tricky. It's very easy to counter oversteer. And yeah, Joe, that's exactly what it means. A twitchy car means that it's literally twitching. So it's like, some people refer to it as skittish. Others refer to it as like knife edge, is another way of putting it. Essentially, it's when your car you're planting the power and it just starts to go sideways. And a twitchy rear end means it's very loose. It tends to oversteer and come out of control. So you see there where we got a nice little bit of a drift. That can be caused by the car just essentially twitching under braking or twitching under power. It's quite a common British phrase. I mean, it was used a lot by the likes of Top Gear and Fifth Gear and Auto Car Magazine. A lot of the British motoring journalists use it. Let's say skittish is another word you might have heard. That's another one that it gets referred to as. It's often engineered by being a bit too heavy on the throttle or too heavy on the brakes, and the car not having like active enough suspension to ride it out and control it. So you can see there where it hit the bumps. It's especially common when you've got a bumpy surface, because the contact patch of your tyre gets disturbed, and if you've got the wrong rear end, you get very much out of line. So oversteering cars on entry can be good if you're good at correcting them. Usually a lot of people prefer understeering, because that way you have to throw a lot more steering angle into the car. If you've got an oversteer, you have to use minimal inputs, so it depends on how precise you are. If you're a very precise driver, then an oversteer car is great, because you put a tiny little bit of turn in and you're right into the corner. Whereas with an understeer car, you have to throw a lot more wheel lock to get in. Oh, this is going to be awkward. We've brought the Alpine to Opera Paris, a bumpy circuit and a slow circuit. I'm going to hate this. Here we go. It's possibly my least favourite circuit in the game, this. I'm driving a very oversteery car on a very uneven surface. This is going to be fun. See, even the AI cars are twitching. You can see them like getting out of line. That's what it means by having a twitchy rear end. It's overreacting to the inputs. It's like taking minimal steering angle. Yes, what could go wrong? Good question. Then again, you did see me manage to survive 97 laps or 94 laps here? Driving in the Jag. In the 1,000 miles. So I have actually got quite a lot of experience at the circuit, but unfortunately a lot of those experiences are very bad experiences. Though I will say, playing this on an emulator using a modern controller with analog triggers makes a world of difference, because you have so much more input on your throttle and it can make it a lot easier to manage. Again, going back to the stream where I did the 1,000 miles with the Jag, on a PS2 controller, unless you mastered using the analog stick version of entering your accelerator and your brakes, it was definitely very difficult. Still, we've not yet gone to a ticket to a festival of fiery festival of plastic death, as James May put it one time. So, thus far we're doing okay. And I got to say, like, in the license test, there was I think it's either in the IA or the IB, there was a test involving a guided run of this in a Renault Clio. And people said you were better off using the S license test at this circuit to learn it, and then go back to get gold after doing the S license. It was that hard. Say, the license tests, I did enjoy some of the challenges of them, but there were others where they were absolutely busted against the player, and you had to really pull some skills out to win it. So I was actually trying to make my own version of ABS then by using minimal brake input, and it actually worked quite well. Oddly enough, I'm actually quite enjoying this circuit. Normally I hate this track, but actually so far it's reacting very, very well. I better be careful and not just jinx myself by saying that, but I'm actually finding this a lot more manageable. See there, I was able to use the oversteer to throw it into the corner, and it worked. Maybe I like the reverse layout or something, I don't know. Yes, Joe, very good point. The Motul Pitwork Z S-license test, that is hard. At Suzuka, that's really difficult. The Nordschleifer with the Mercedes 190E is quite hard. The Audi R8 actually in Finian's point, that's not very easy either. And of course, unless you've mastered war riding, the Peugeot 205 at Chamonix, that is brutally tough. So thanks to all you people who made me pay my punishment by doing that live on stream for the second time. Because I got the stream time wrong. It was deserved, let's be fair. Oh, getting quite twitchy again here. Because this car feels like it's got quick steering, which is nice normally, but if you're starting to lose control, quick steering is a very bad thing, because all you do is quickly lose control in the opposite direction when you're trying to catch it. So, a low-speed city traffic, quick steering, amazing. When you're oversteering at 100 miles an hour, quick steering, very, very bad. You don't want it. Nice, shaved the wall, that was good. And yes, aside from a few moments of outbraking myself, this has been a very undramatic race at Opera Paris. If you want to enjoy this circuit, drive the Alpine 1600 VE, I guess. You'll learn something new every day. Nice drift from the computer there. That's true actually, Joe. Yeah, the Takata NSX, purely because the high-speed chicane, the car has a nasty habit of spinning out if you catch the curb in the wrong way. The amount of times I raged at doing that was a lot when I was younger. Because there's the fast sweeping chicane halfway through the second sector. You catch the curb there, it just spits your car around like it's made of ice for some reason. It's just not very good at riding that curb. On to the next test. We are 3 to none. We're doing good. We are coming very close to the end, so I will be ending the poll soon. Probably doing it right after we finish this tournament, because I think there's only 2 races left. And that pretty much will be the end of the stream. Yeah, yes, Avian, now that you've said that, now that you've put that there, I'm blaming you when it happens, Avian. You're going to be responsible. I'm your Dragon and Achiever jumping in very, very late. Good evening to you. Welcome back to the stream. And needless to say, we are in the final stretch now. We're driving in a 1970s Alpine. And it's been somewhat oversteery, twitchy, and a good laugh to say the least. So, I say the poll is there. You've still got time to vote for the final race that we're going to do. It's going to be the endurance race on the next stream. It's pretty tight between a couple of the options, and I'd love to see which one is going to win out. You've still got time to vote. After this championship ends, I will be closing the voting and announcing the victor. So here we go, around the inside. Yeah, it has indeed been a while, Dragon. So good evening to you, mate. How are you doing? Just so you're all aware, I am going to be back tomorrow night doing Wild Arms 2 rather than Friday, purely because I'm hoping to do a Saturday stream with my friend Nerdy Hound. We've not decided what game we're doing yet, but we're going to be back at the usual time on Saturday. And then on the Sunday, if you are at RakuCon in Manchester, you can find us there. We're going to be turning up for one day. So if you're about, come find us, say hi. You say this track reminds you of Wangan Midnight. What? You'll need to help me out with what that is, Dragon. That name doesn't ring a bell. I'm not saying it's not something I wouldn't like. It's just it doesn't ring a bell with me. Well, let's take a look at the car. Oh yes, how 70s is this, people? The Alpine Renault. Yes. Let's ride on board. We'll pretend we're in the cockpit here, and look at that for oversteer. Yes, this was the 2004 version of the cockpit view. Riding somewhere on the windscreen. It's an interesting perspective, isn't it? But of course, that's my favourite, the bump one. I'm very sorry to hear that you've been in that situation. I know how tough that is. You have all my sympathies at the moment, and I hope things can improve for you soon. Take it nice and easy. You're not obligated to be anywhere. What matters is looking after number one, mate. So, no worries. But you say that Wangan Midnight was a car anime similar to Initial D. Ah, okay. I'll definitely check that out then, because Initial D was amazing. Night of Fire by Nico, one of the greatest soundtracks to racing I've ever heard. If you disagree with that, you have no soul. Or you've never heard it. Night of Fire is amazing. I even knew the Para dance. I've not done it in years though, so I had to relearn it. Because why not? So here we go. I think we're about to enter the final race of this particular tournament. The Alpine. And wouldn't you believe it, it's taken us to Grand Valley Speedway. We're doing Grand Valley, but we're doing the clockwise route. Classic 70s cars. The way it like popped its back wheels then was almost like a 70s muscle car. Like, you know, the Chevrolet Chevelle SS or something like that, or the Dodge Charger RT. Difference is being a European car, it can actually corner. Oh! Yes, it's below the belt. No. It is the truth, I'm not retracting it. Even though I secretly would love a 1968 Dodge Charger RT. They are amazing cars. So the modern Alpines are pretty good. Like the Alpine A110 is a really nice car, but say this 70s Alpine is a bit of an animal. Great design, great colours. And it's incredibly oversteery, so you can have some serious fun with it. but it's also in a competitive race environment a little bit weaker than other cars of its era. And I say, because I've souped this up, it's actually a lot better to drive. The stock version was a bit too sluggish. It just had no power. And the sports tyres had no grip, so it was the worst of both worlds. Putting some decent tyres on it and a little bit of power, best way forward. And oh yes, Dragon, my dream car, the R34 Skyline. I would love one. I would love to have one of those cars, but they unfortunately cost something silly like £50,000 these days. They are amazing machines, beautiful cars. Great look, great sound, great driving ability, great speed. Absolutely iconic. Oh, nice! You said it's footage of Michel Mouton driving a classic A110 in a rally version. Michel Mouton was an absolute boss. I always found it funny when people were like, yeah, there'll never be a racing driver who's a girl who's as good as the guys. And I'm like, go and watch the 80s Group B. Michel Mouton was amazing. Shut up. Right now. She was absolutely iconic. Drove the legendary Audi Quattro alongside some great drivers like Hannu Mikkola. Amazing. The R32 Dragon was pretty decent. The only problem with the R32 is it was rear wheel drive and a bit too boxy. The R33 was a good car though. That was a good halfway between the R34 and the R32. And indeed she did, Joe. Yes, she pushed Walter Roll to his limits, and he famously came out with a rather nasty comment, actually, which has aged very poorly. And even though the pair of them said there was no problem with it, it got Walter some serious shade back in the 80s. Yeah, Walter Roll just was driving for Toyota that season, I believe. It was in '82, and he ended up winning the championship, but not by much. Michel Mouton was very close to taking it, and that would have been awesome. Still would have been the only female driver I know of who would have won an actual FIA World Championship. That's where it's like not segregated gender. Watching now, I'm probably wrong. I'm probably doing a massive disservice to somebody now, and I'm going to get absolute nuclear heat in the audience, which I totally deserve. It does surprise me they had games on the PS2. It's a bit sad, really, that it's stuck in Japan, though. Because at some point I should play Tokyo Highway Battle. Originally released on the Dreamcast and then got some brilliant ports to the PS2. That could be a good game to do. Basically, it was like the original Midnight Club. Driving on the Tokyo to Yokohama Expressway. So let's see if this is the title. And is it enough to break the curse this avian has tried to cast on my stream? Let's find out. I don't know about Kaido Racer 2, Joe, but it wouldn't surprise. That's not a surprise at all, Dragon. That Tokyo Extreme Racer was inspired by Wangan Midnight and Midnight Club. Would not be a surprise at all. Still 50 G's, quite impressed by that. We got a decent payout. So the question is, what have we won? Watch it now be exactly the same car I've already got. That's the other one. The A110 1600S. Oh, another car. Oh, yes! Oh, now we're talking. 50% completion has got me one of the most iconic Group C Le Mans cars of all time. Ross Brawn, who went on to design amazing cars for Ferrari in Formula 1 and win the F1 World Championship with his own team in 2009, cut his teeth with this very car. Absolutely awesome. What a prize. That's what I'm talking about. That was worth it. So the actual completion, let's get the actual percentage here, is 50.2%. I was 0.3 over what you said I was, Avian. I cleared the bar by the skin of my teeth. Absolutely amazing. So, right at the end of the stream, we have a result. So, I posted to say that we are going to be essentially going on the next stream. We will be doing a endurance race. And the winner, with 54% of the vote, is Laguna Seca. We're doing the Laguna Seca 200 miles. That is going to be on the next stream, and that's going to be next week, probably on the same day. It's probably on a Wednesday, but it might be on a Thursday. We'll keep an eye out for that. So, with that, that is where we're pretty much going to wrap up the stream. Indeed, Queen, you did arrive just at the end. You arrived right at the finale, but you got to see a nice prize car, which was absolutely gorgeous. So, I will be seeing you all again tomorrow night, because that's when we're doing the Wild Arms 2 stream. But for the Gran Turismo 4, that's going to be next week. So, until then, thank you all very, very much for watching. And super nice try, Avian. Super nice try.